I'd already started PTing before going back to uni.
You started already?
Yeah, so I
qualified, yeah?
Yeah. I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dami.
Hey guys, I'm Teo.
And I'm Chiso Lifts.
And you're listening to the DAMIHOW podcast.
Boom.
Hi Chiso. Thanks
Hi,
for coming in today, even though the weather's a bit moody
It's calm.
and rainy.
I'm always in my car anyway, so rain, snow.
I wasn't. It was like I had to take a bus all the way from Catford to Vauxhall and then Vauxhall to... I was like, what journey? It was like an hour and a half, because the trains are just... It's a mess.
It was meant to be, cancellation today, innit?
Yeah, it was it's just been
That's
mad.
caused traffic,
Yeah.
Originally, it was meant to be cancellation.
Oh, so everything's just messed up in general.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Who are you?
Regular, degular chiz, man. A personal train, an online train as well. I've got my YouTube channel. Everyone calls what I do on YouTube a pod, but it's not conventional pod because talking and training, I just think it's just a back garden gym conversation.
Yeah.
And Uber as well. So between clients, if I got like a long time gap, I just jump in my car and just
do Uber.
turn on my music and just zone out on Uber.
Yeah.
So that's amongst a few things, and parties and events here and there. Yeah.
So you've been self-employed how long?
Wow, a long time, 2008. I was working nights, security, self-employed.
Yeah.
From then. So basically how I fell into that was I got fired from Carphone Warehouse. Yeah. And it goes to what I was saying before.
Oh, yeah.
Before the camera got switched on, where, when you go for interviews and all the time, you get like little setbacks and you think to yourself, do I really fit this corporate structure? Yeah. So I just thought to myself, let me kind of make my own path on my own lane. So first off, I was working nights for a while. I still used to do events, but I kind of took a step back on it for a few years and would only do it once a year on my birthday. So I got into events from when I was at 18 originally. Cool. So between 2008 to I think 2015, I was on the doors in the nights doing security and doing like Sundays at Vauxhall Market with my friend's dad and his team. And funny enough, that's where I met someone who's doing well in fitness at M's Power before she even started training. So I used to see her every Sunday in the market as well, working. Then fast forward to 2016, I was in second year uni, and I remember like a lecturer came in to talk about, she came to one of our, so I studied sport and exercise science. She came to one of our lectures to talk about life after uni. Yeah. Like what you're going to do. Then I was just like, in the middle of the lecture, I was like, you know what? After this, I might go into maybe like teaching or something like that. And she was like, do you really want to do that? I was like, I guess, you know what I mean?
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Like I did sport and exercise science as well in uni as well. But then by the time it finished, I thought to myself, like, I genuinely don't know what I'm supposed to do with that qualification in particular. So then obviously I just went back to doing my retail work for like up to a year on. And then one of my boys had been PTing for like 2 years prior. Yeah. And because of him, I just thought, I might as well. Because I've been more or less down that avenue most of my life, in it, like training, exercising, PTing the boys like when I was young and things like that. And then I just decided, let me do that. And then 5 years later, best 5 years of my life.
I'd already started PTing before going back to uni.
You started already?
Yeah, so I
qualified,
Yeah. I'm not one of this. I'm not one of these. I tweet all the time, I tweet all the time. The game is a mess. Bro. I tweet all the time. I say, ask your PT for his qualifications and for his insurance. Yeah, because I'm like, a lot of these cowboys are out there, no insurance, no qualifications, nothing.
Basically so just chopping money.
Chopping money for no reason. So partly why I kind of went back to uni. So originally I went to uni before. Yeah, but I dropped out due to personal things at the time. Then partly why I went back to get my degrees, because I thought to myself, I didn't want to be just a normal PT. Yeah, I wanted more.
I wanted to stand out.
I wanted more knowledge than everyone else. I wanted to know the body inside out. So I was just like, you know what, even though I was already making good money at the time, I was working at Fitness First in Clapham Junction, and I was working every morning, 5:30. This is while I was in uni in the first year. Like, I nearly flopped first year just due to I kept on falling asleep. I'll bribe the cleaners to get an hour early. I'll buy them breakfast every morning. Get in there 5:30, train clients 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Finish about 9:30. My lecturers knew I would always be late because I always told them I'll work in the morning. So I'd bribe the people who work in Asda in Clapham Junction. Yeah, I was just I'm good at getting people on my side, innit? I hear that. Like coming from a sales background. So I bribe them as well to park in for free. So what I'll do is when they want to come gym, I'll chat to receptionists.
It's just nice to get them in like that.
You know what I mean? So we had a working relationship. So I park my car there the whole day, jump on the train, go to Elephant Castle, go uni. Lecturers, South Bank.
Fair enough.
Tell lecturers, same thing. I need to leave out early. 4:30, boom. My class might finish at 5, but 4:30, I'm out. Back to the gym, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 o'clock, I'll lock off because I needed to train myself.
Yeah, of course.
So 9 to 10, I'll train myself, and I did this for a whole year. I was mashing. Saturdays, I was working as well, like from 8 in the morning till 2. I was mashing. But every day I was like this. Every single day. Like, what made me stop was at the time I was coming back from West London one day. I had to ease back on hours. I was coming back from West London in the morning. So my ex-girl lived in West Kensington. I was driving down the hill, like literally a minute away from parking. I fell asleep in my car and it drifted and I heard beep, 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 and then it crashed. My lecturer was like, when I come to uni and telling her what happened, she was like, I told you from first year, ease up. Like, money isn't everything. It's going to kill you. You know what I mean? Then that business lecture we had, the woman was like, I remember you from uni prior before, and you used to have lit parties, and a few people who work in here always talk about the parties till today. And they were like, we see you walking through uni all the time, headphones, but you don't talk to no one. So I was like, right, I didn't even know that people who
noticing you like that.
Noticing me like that. And she was like, yeah, you don't talk to no one, you just keep your headphones. I said, you know what? I come back to uni the second time and my brain was just like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm just here to get my degree, leave out. I'm a bit older than everyone. So I just stayed in the zone. I'll just be class, library, computer room, out, like in my free times. So she was like, understandable, but she was like, if you get back to doing the events, you're going to have more free time to be able to focus on uni and less on work. So I was like, you know what? You're right. So I started doing events again instantly. Like within a month of that, like she kind of spurred back me into being who I was. So started doing that, eased back a bit on PT and just kind of just fast forward to now, kind of balance between that and the Uber and everything. And funny enough, after that conversation, that's when I got into Uber as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was like, do you really want to go into teaching? I was like,
oh yeah, that's the conversation you had.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, it was like a Michael Jordan moment. Like, fuck them kids.
I'm done. So just going back, so obviously both you studied sports. What is it?
Sport and exercise science.
Sport and exercise science.
So when you went into that, what's your thinking? Like, were you trying to?
I'll be real, for me, like my thing growing up, I always wanted to be an actor, innit? So I used to do drama. I did drama from GCSE. I did an A-level and I was pretty good. Did well in theory and did well in practice. Yeah. Come to uni now and guess who got involved? Mumsy.
What country you from?
Nigeria.
There you go.
So Mumsy gets involved and she's basically powering me off saying, like, come on man, like, make it make sense kind of thing, innit? It's funny though, looking back on it, if I did make it make sense and I stuck doing drama, there's a couple places, because I know a couple people who same pathway did a few things at the moment, innit? A couple man done Blue Story, a couple man are doing a few other things, and like I'm thinking could have been in that direction, but it is what it is. I'm happy with what I do now. But long story short was she would more or less try to do something more academic, something that makes more sense. And I was still drama and physical education were two things that I was very good at. So I chose obviously the next best thing. But like I'm saying, by the time I finished, I didn't know what I would be doing, like with my qualification. Didn't know where I'd end up, and I knew I didn't want to teach.
So before you actually like got into the degree, you just thought you just do it, but you didn't know what you were going to do with it.
Do it, innit? I don't know if many people, other than those donuts that did business, them business people that wanted to be businessmen.
You sound like Gabriel, boy.
No, literally. Like, other than them, man, I don't think anyone knew what they wanted to do in it. Yeah. So boom, I said, cool, let me do that. And then when it's finished, take the next step as it is. Like, I feel like I'm one of them guys. Yeah, you could ask me now what my 5-year plan is. Can't lie, don't know. All I know for certain is I want to buy a house. I want to be rich. Full stop. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, I'll get there. I do have plans, but I don't want to say I take things step by step or whimsical, but it's just like I kind of glide through it at the pace that I know I can glide through it. One thing's for certain, I'm going to continue to make an income and continue growing that and move into the next venture and the next venture. But in terms of where life finishes for me, I know when I get flowing. There, you know what I mean? What was your setup like with that in terms of getting into?
Typical Nigerian parents as well, isn't it? So I was born in Nigeria, and I moved there in '96. And originally, my mom, she was pro sports. Like, from a kid, I used to play tennis first and football. So I was good at tennis and good at football. I moved here in school, year 7. I'm in a playground, dubs and all kids in the playground. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, "Rah, why don't you ever come after school to football?" I said, "I'm not allowed." They was like, "Why?" I'm like, "Oh, my auntie." So when I moved to England, I moved to my auntie's. My auntie, she was a maths teacher, and she taught in the school that I went to at first. So she came in originally. Like, imagine I start school, within a month, your aunt comes as supply teacher. We live in the same house. My
I would hate that.
Oh, it was painful. So she
days.
comes in as supply teacher to that school. The first term, she wasn't in my class. The second term, she was in my class as the maths teacher. But I was so good at schoolwork when I first moved here that, especially maths, I found maths I find it easy. Yeah. Like, I'm one of those people that my brothers be like, "Oh yeah, what's this and that?" And in my head, I'm already calculating numbers quickly. So she's coming and she's like, "Oh, why don't you attend maths lessons?" And I said to her, "I'm so ahead of my work." The school I went to was called Stockwell Park. The first school I went to, they had a system called Smart, and you had to pick from a folder and follow bit by bit. So literally, they'd put in files a year's worth of work for year 7, year 8. Right. But I'd completed year 7 in the first term because I found maths too easy. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to go guitar lessons. Yeah. So I was going guitar lessons. My auntie became my teacher.
Can you play that now?
Nah. My auntie became my teacher. That was it. Yeah. Done. You know what I mean? So I was vexed. Then she was like, "You can't go music lessons. You can't go sports."
Can't do the football.
Then weekends, I used to play basketball down the road of where I grew up. Yeah. So I used to play basketball, and eventually I ended up playing basketball for Brixton Top Cats. But for years, my old coach would see me when he's walking past in the weekends and be like, "Come training." I'll be like, "I can't." You know what I mean? So I remember in year 10, I saved my pocket money for probably half the year and paid for summer camp. I went training during year 10 during the 6-week holiday. Okay. Then he's like, "Oh, so you're allowed now?" I said, "No, after the camp, I can't come back till I finish GCSE." So I remember on my last GCSEs, after doing my RE GCSE, that was my very last GCSE. And the same day I was at basketball training, I said, "Oh, I told you I'll come back." So my aunt, she was like, "You were really, really that into sport?" I said, "Yeah, I would have done." I passed everything apart from French because I was showing off. I took my coursework home to show off to my aunt and I forgot it in my house. So that made my grade. That made my grade drop down. But if I did it, I would have had a B or maybe A minus. You know what I mean? Yeah. So due to showing off, I failed French and got a D. Then I remember going back to basketball the same day and telling my aunt, and she was shocked. She was like, "You were really, really that into sports." So I said to her, if I was allowed to train from early, I would have got higher grades. Yeah. But I said the reason why I got B's and C's was because I just didn't care. Yeah. I always knew I would pass. You see, in school, I was one of those kids.
At this point, it's you're just working to finish.
Yeah, I'm just working to finish. Yeah. I remember even my RE exam year, I got a B in RE. I did 3 out of 5 sections. Yeah. And I fell asleep. And the teacher's like, "Why are you sleeping?" I said, "Right, you can't kick me out." And she goes, "Why are you going to finish it?" I said, "I passed." Yeah. I said, she goes, why are you sure?" I said, "I'm so confident in myself. I know my abilities." Yeah. So I've told my aunt years later, and she goes, that if she'd let me be more free, I'd have probably been way ahead. And I said, yeah, because a few of my brothers who I went to school with at college with ended up like in Premiership and the Championship and that. So it's like seeing that, and you're telling me like, I can't play sports. I'll tell you how bad it got, yeah. So growing up, I used to love football, but because my aunt used to love watching, there was this silly program called Sunset Beach on Saturdays. Due to Sunset Beach being on, I couldn't watch the Premiership. Yeah. Till today, I don't watch football.
Fair.
You get me? I don't even support a football team. And my brothers are like, why? And I remember explaining to them, I was like, every time I wanted to watch football,
you missed out for too long.
I missed out for too long that I just switched off. And literally, I didn't own a TV till like 4 years ago.
Fair.
Yeah, I kind of switched off on anything that way and just stayed on the zone.
With the TV thing in particular, I was the same way. Like, I don't watch TV. Yeah. Only now, recently, but mainly like shows that you catch on online anyway, like Netflix and all that shit. But TV wise, nothing. But
indirectly, everything that happened there is what kind of got me into gym. So in 1998, I was in year 9, and I was one of these skinny kids, but I had like a bowl belly. Yeah. So I used to go swimming with my cousins like on Saturdays, because that was the only time we were allowed out, really. So go swimming on Saturdays after going food shopping with my aunt for like a couple hours. Then with school, we do swimming once a week. Then I remember getting abs, and all my cousin's little friends, they're like, he's got a 6-pack. So the girls are gassing me up. So I said to my cousin, right, let's go buy some weights from Argos. That's how I started training.
Fair.
And Dragon Ball Z gassed me as well. I went to be like, go get Vegeta. So I've been in the gym like 24 years now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
No, all the time you've been talking and dropping these years. And
I'm not gonna. I'm
37.
Been fully trying to do the math.
Yeah, I was thinking. You said 96. I was like, oh shit, I was born in 96.
I've just been sitting there doing the math, trying to work out what age was this, what age was that. Fair enough though. But so like you've been training 24 years now, you said?
24 years.
And you got a training app now as well, innit?
Yeah, I do.
So how did that come about? Like what made you kind of make that? And then what was like cost wise? You don't have to get too deep into it, but in terms of like just how it came through.
Pandemic.
Yeah. So that's about 2 years old now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fair.
So I started the app actually last year August, but it was just after seeing the pandemic, and I was like, you know what, we can end up going into something like this in the future. So I was like, how do I branch out of that? So before that, I started YouTube at the end of the last lockdown. Yeah. So like a month before we come out of lockdown, I started a YouTube channel. Then after that, I started plotting, and I was like, you know what, I need something more. Yeah. Then I jumped on the app.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's good though. I like that, because I guess it's the same thing with the home gym setup that you had as well. Yeah. What was that like pricing wise, buying equipment and things? Because I remember, bro, I bought one dumbbell.
Prices of equipment at that time was just so ridiculous.
I bought one dumbbell, 17.5 kg, just the one, not even a pair. I just mean the one like that. Yeah. £78.
Yeah, it was at the time it was £4 per kilo. Bro. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It was £4 per kilo. So at the time I bought how much weights I got? I got like 300 and something K in weights. So that was 1,000 something. I bought 2 barbells. One company robbed me. It still ain't.
For real?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth for like a year and a bit. Emails cussing them anytime I get bored. You know, just reminded me. So like today I'm just gonna hit them up for no reason. Like last time I said, right, I said you lot trying to hide. Yeah. I said don't make me pull up at your warehouse. You get me? Out of boredom. So been going back and forth with that one. So I bought a barbell. I bought a small barbell set, which was like a portable, like 50K, you know, one of the York ones that you could twist in. Yeah. So at the time during lockdown, I was using that first, and I bought a whole bunch of kettlebells. Yeah. And I used to put that in my car boot, and literally
ride around, do your PC.
Everyone who was like within 5 mile radius, I was driving and just linking them in parks and training people. Yeah. You know what I mean? But remember that time, you weren't allowed to
be outside.
You could, but I was just like, you know, as long as we're not filming a social and you're standing there and I'm here, I could just literally, I'll just, before we start, I'll be like, yeah, this is what you need to do, that's what you need to do, this is here, I'll set up stations.
It was like 1 hour a day in it that you can be outside or something.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a crazy time looking back at it.
Crazy thing. Like, bro, I think I've told the story enough times, but I was in Miami, innit? Yeah. Like the day that the lockdown thing was kind of announced, innit? Yeah. So I'm in Miami. I'm snapping everyone saying, turn up's done, time to come back and make some money. I get to London, around 6 o'clock that evening, my gym manager messages me saying, come to the gym, collect your stuff, we're locking it down. I said, what? I was rattled. I said, this ain't real. Because you know this has never happened before, innit? So I'm just here thinking, boom, this will pass next week, corona, done. Bro, they locked the gym. I went there, everyone's clearing their shit out. I'm clearing all my stuff out. I'm sitting at home thinking, fam,
what's going on?
Bro, what's going on? What am I going to do? Then Monday comes and I train like 4 or 5 clients outside. Then that prick Boris says, "Oh, no, you can't.
No, you can't go outside."
I said, "You're not taking that piss. Like, what do you want us to do?"
Yeah.
And I sat there for like a week thinking, boom, like, what am I actually supposed to do? Downloaded Zoom, bought a MacBook, bought a camera, all those 3 things in like 5 days. And I said, no, this ain't gonna be the end. I need to make shit work.
Yeah.
And buff, and that was it.
I was doing those online workouts where, like, similar to you, where people link me on live and all of that. But the problem is I lost so much weight.
Oh, bro.
I was just like, I can't do this no more. I literally stopped. And I remember, like, was London, and Kira was like, oh, how come you stopped? I said, mate, I was literally, before that first lockdown, I was 16 stone. Yeah, because strong.
On a live, you can't, like, I teach in classes in the gym and that. And in the gym, you can, like, say, I do this and walk around
and stop and that. In the live, you can't do that. You have to keep moving. Because you're the only one there, you have to do the whole dancing thing for everybody else for the whole, whether it's an hour, hour and a half, whatever it is. And if you're not doing that, then no one's engaging with you. Yeah, you have to keep moving. So I remember doing that, and because I was running, remember that Nike challenge where everyone was running 100k in a month? I did that 4 months in a row. I swear to God, by the time that lockdown was finished,
slim thing,
I was like, I was like 11 stone something.
Oh my God.
Like, I remember the first time I went back to gym, I just about got like 1 rep on 2 plates. I see the man them laughing. Everyone's like, kiki. You're weak now. I used to be one of the strong ones. I was like, yeah, cool, banter. Everyone's laughing. Busting joke. I stayed in the gym so hard. By the time November came, before the second lockdown started, so I remember second lockdown, we went in, I think, December the 8th. Before that day came,
Christmas,
I'd already ordered more weights because I was like, you know what, this gonna happen. Ordered a thingy rack, a power rack, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna need this. I went online, found a company that sells clear Perspex glass. Ordered that for the roofing. My neighbor, he's a builder, so I told him what I was planning to do. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna help you. Pay the money. Like, what he charged me was literally peanuts compared to what he gets.
Actually,
but because he proper likes me, he was like, I got you. So me and him stayed there building that. Then literally gone into lockdown now, so I started laughing at everyone. I was like, key. You know, he was laughing at me.
Now you not got to shout me to come.
And by then now, I'd got stronger than I was before. Before even the first lockdown, because I was in rage. I was like, right, you know, bantering me. So I started doing dumb stuff like, right, if you want to come train, you have to be able to bench 100k for 20 reps. You have to be able to squat 140 for 20, and you can't come to my house. If not, I have to PT you. And everyone's like, right, you're taking the piss. I said, only the strong survive.
Did you get to a point where you was charging people to come and train?
Yeah, so like,
I remember seeing you. So I was thinking, shit, I wanna come and train, but I didn't want to be a beg. I was seeing people come and train. I was thinking, oh my days.
You know what it is? I was just like, right, if it was people who were not in fitness, I was charging them. If it was people who were in fitness, I was like, right, come train. I need training partners.
Because them man are missing out basically on what they
so I was like,
do.
I need training partners. Like, even Karen came. Like, a few other people came, and I was like, I need training partners constantly. So anytime I had gaps, whoever came, I was like, yeah, let's train. And they were like, right, you got energy. I'm like, they ain't nothing to do.
So
she just gonna be eating and sleeping.
Eating and sleeping, literally. No, I feel that though.
Mad times. I remember, like, after that lockdown, I was the heaviest I was ever. I was like 103, 104 kilos. I was squatting 220 for 10.
That's mad.
Benching 140 for 13. I don't even deadlift. The man was deadlifting. I was just coming and pulling 250 every time for bants. Like, just literally just because I could. Like, deadlifting ain't my thing. I avoid it. I do RDLs, but I just don't do conventional. But I was just pulling for bants just to. And they was like, right, but you don't even deadlift. But I was just so big compared to what I'm usually used to carrying around. But I didn't realize, because like you're in your house for like 5 months straight, and all I was doing was going Tesco and back,
just eat,
and all the man them was coming and training at mine, and I was still training my clients. So funny enough, during that period, I was mad busy. Like, I was crazy busy because no gyms are open. So like, remember, everyone was working from home. So even my old clients that I had from years ago were traveling from like Northwest London to South to train. I was like, I'll show with you. But it was like, I'm bored. So I was like, why not? You know what I mean?
And even just going back to like you guys studying sports med, like, so now that you've done it and you guys are in your careers now, so like someone wanted to be a PT or just kind of do something in sports, is that degree like necessary? Or like, even knowing what you've done in that degree, what do you think, what's something else that you can do with that degree apart from PTing?
It's not necessary if you're trying to get into PT, to be fair.
Is it?
It's not at all.
Knowledge wise, it's as good as you need. You know what I mean? It's like, to become a PT, you just need a level 2 fitness instructor, level 3 personal training, and they gloss over like everything to do with anatomy and whatnot. But doing that degree, like,
you're basically level 6.
It gives you a serious level of knowledge ahead of normal things. Hence the reason why I do the injury stuff with clients and things like that, because there's a lot more that I know that you wouldn't get out of doing your level 3. So it's not mandatory to be a PT, but it's helpful. Any more reading is always going to be helpful. You know what I mean?
Like, even like when it comes to like, for instance, like nutrition, for instance. It was in my module every single year for like 3 years. It was like one term I'd always have nutrition. So like, fast forward to now, when I see all these PTs online giving these garbage diet plans and diet advice, I'm just there just shaking my head, and everyone's thinking, you must be on some strict diet of bland food. I'm like, no, if you're really good at counting macros and knowing, it's not that hard, you know what I mean? And it comes back to maths again. If you're very good at calculating, like, it's not that hard. You could stay in shape all year round and not have to suffer
if you just know your numbers.
If you know your numbers.
I think earlier we were talking about like your opinion on things like that, innit? Like, I see on Twitter, like, always like kind of saying something regarding the training, exercise, those kind of things. Like, how do you feel about like that kind of stuff? Because it seems like you're quite passionate, emotional in that direction, for one. And then, do people ever like come back at you, combative, like ever trying to claim that, you don't know what you're talking about?
There's never no backlash. There's never no backlash, you know. Like, even I think it's due to a lot of people know I've been doing it for a very long time, but like, just having that sport and exercise science background, like I said, the knowledge is just a bit more advanced than the normal average PT. But a lot of times I even have to hold back just because I feel like
there's a lot of stuff people won't understand.
They won't understand, and you don't want to give them information overload. So you just have to kind of, you know what I mean?
Read it in a bit.
But even that, like, Twitter is a crazy place to even, like, nowadays now anyway, because I see stuff like someone just, casually tweeting about, something to do with health and fitness, and then someone that comes and they're like, that's fat phobia, or that's, your, what was it? I can't remember. They said like, forcing someone to go to the gym is, I can't remember what it was, but somehow fat phobia came in, and then they said people that go to gym have an eating disorder, and like all this crazy thing. And it's so mad how like you just, trying to promote health and fitness that would benefit everyone, and it comes back to say like, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
not by force.
But it becomes a thing as if like you're attacking them for not doing it. It's so crazy.
Because everything's the same thing. There's a level of consistency that runs in everything. Like, you go to work every day, you eat food every day, you do the next thing every day. But in the moment you talk about something that someone doesn't want to do, they act as if the two things are different. There's no different between me going gym 5 days a week and you going work 5 days a week. You going work pays you for 5 days. Me going gym pays my body in terms of health, strength, recovery, whatever it might be. And that's all it is.
A lot of people, like, even carrying on from that, a lot of people don't understand here, like, let's say like us that are heavily involved in gym, we understand the long-term benefit to our body, where I could probably say like, the last time I've been in a hospital was when I was born. That says a lot, innit? So that's the last time I've ever been in a hospital for anything, like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd have your normal GP checkups, but I don't get that. You know what I mean?
Outside
I don't get
like
ill.
A broken finger or something like that. I haven't been hospitalized.
I have never had to stay overnight in a hospital. So it tells you that if that average person stayed in the gym, the NHS would not be so overworked.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So do you feel like what needs to change then in that case? How do we, as like obviously people that have fitness pages, we promote fitness and all of that, PTs and whatever, how can we kind of, I guess maybe change that perspective? We'll probably won't really be able to do it, but what can we do more of to, I guess, maybe change people's perception or just like influence them a bit more that doesn't seem, very aggressive, should I say?
Boy, we can try, but
don't want to do it.
Because like right now, like you drop a lot of content as well. Obviously, some of it's a bit comical, some of it's more serious and whatnot. So, what's your point of doing that? Like, what are you trying to get across?
You know what it is, like with the comical stuff, I could drop a lot more. Like I've constantly got ideas, but I don't do as much as I would love to.
Yeah,
because I don't want to fall into the gimmick of he's a comedian.
Yeah, same.
And I remember like saying it recently to my boy Adrian Harves. So he's a PT, he's a very good PT as well. And I said to him, the problem is when you become too jokey.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're some sort of clown.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to get things twisted because I don't know.
Yeah,
I know.
I understand the difference.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I know the difference of, things. So in regards to how we can influence it's the government. That's the truth. They control the narrative and everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Like most people are like puppets. You saw with COVID, some people never came out of their house even months after.
Literally.
Some people are still walking around in shops with masks.
Yeah.
But it just tells you like it's down to the government.
Like if someone high enough says it, then they'll follow.
You don't want me to be a politician, but I literally like every Saturday, like you just hear the alarm on TV, boom, 9 a.m. Yeah, everyone, let's get up. Let's get up.
Boot camp, man.
Boot camp, the whole country, boy. I'm gonna be on a tunnel on the main road. You get me? The whole country's gonna do a 2-mile run every Saturday. No one's gonna be out of shape. You figure out this is some dictatorship, you know what I mean? But it's necessary. I'd be like, right, you don't want to save the NHS, all right, 2-mile run. I'd be like, unless you've got like any disabilities or that, you're the only ones exempt. Everyone else up, you know, are running. Boy. Trust me.
Fair enough.
Even in saying that, what would you say is like for like just a normal average person, what's the minimum they should be doing to contribute to like their health and fitness?
I'll say go on a little 20-minute walk. I'll tell you how I realised here, like even us that are in fitness here, a lot of people look in shape, but a lot of people are not healthy.
Yeah.
They just look in shape.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. More times I get out my door, jump in my car, get to where I need to get to. And I'll say in a day, the only reason my step count is high is due to after I finish lifting, I do like intervals quickly. And when I'm in the gym, I'm just pacing up and down.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that,
yeah,
my step count would be abysmal.
I see the difference between like my Friday and my Saturday and all like that. The rest of the week and my weekend.
Exactly. But it shows you the average person, they just literally just walk from their door into the car, straight to office, straight to the table, sit down 9 hours, get up, back into the car, back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, because we've got so much things at convenience, you got to remember, like, if you went back like 15 years ago, you never had Uber Eats, you never had Uber, you never had all these things that's made our lives a lot easier.
Weren't doing the work from home thing as well.
A lot of people weren't doing work from home, like you said. So back then, we would have to, all right, let me walk down to the bus stop, catch a bus to the train. We were doing more, you know what I mean? Fast forward now, we don't even want to walk to the takeaway shop.
Yeah, I can't lie. That's
you get what I'm saying?
People have to pay £3 extra.
We'd rather pay the £3 extra
to come to your crib.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the
which has made all of us lazy.
Everything's going in though. It's about comfort and ease, basically.
But how far are we gonna go now? Because let's say like give you an example. You see like how Facebook was trying to push this metaverse bullshit and all of that. I'm just thinking to myself, what you don't want to be plugged into the Matrix? Like, you know, like films basically give hints of where
films tell the truth.
Yeah, where things are going. So I'm like, you lot are basically trying to just instantly push yourself into that thing that you're useless. You get born, you get put like in a bath and plugged in. You know what I mean? But that's where people feel more comfortable. Like you see it with the younger generation where I've got little cousins and I was chatting to one of my cousins yesterday and he's 20 and he was like, oh yeah, we just got another screen in our room. I was like, you lot have made your room so comfortable. I was like,
why would you ever leave?
When do you ever see your mum? He was like, bro, he goes, I ain't even lie to you. Like, we stay upstairs, they stay downstairs.
Like
we only see each other in passing.
Yeah, people
sometimes they don't see each other for days.
And it's done. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas when I was growing up, we used to want to go out to play and we get told to stay in. And we're like finding ways to sneak out. Like, I remember like when I was like 16, 15, like I used to, a lot of times on the weekend, my brothers would go Chocadero. So at first, I was just like, rah, I want to come. Then I thought, so they started doing this from 13. So between 13 to 16, I used to pretend, I'm tired, I've gone to sleep, knowing my auntie is going to go sleep by 8:30. The moment she goes sleep by 8:30, I'm putting the front door on the chain lock to pretend I'm inside. I'm going to the back, hopping over the neighbour's roof, running, jumping onto the main road, going out, house party all night, all of that. Hopping back in, I've got like my pajamas in the garden, change, come back in, pretend that I went to get water from downstairs in case someone catches me, flush the toilet, just pretend, you know what I mean? So I had my routine, and them days we was itching to go out. My little cousins, the ones who are even 20, 21,
they don't go nowhere.
They don't go nowhere. Like, I remember like growing up, like my cousin would just be inside on his computer all the time playing, chatting to his brethren on headset and all of that. And when we go down the road and see the park, it's just empty. Whereas when we was growing up, there was like 50 man in the park, playing fighting, playing football, playing basketball.
Like literally, the area I grew up had like 3 little sections, but only one main park. And I remember on like a weekend or summer holiday, it felt like it was yardie party going downstairs every day. It was like everywhere was full. Every random section of this small area was so full, pack out. But now, nothing and no one. Unless school kids are passing through, then it's no one. Mad.
It's crazy.
That's actually nuts.
I think it's a generation thing. Everyone after 2000, they just
different.
there's on the computer.
Face, makes it easier for parents, I guess. But besides that,
it does. But I think partly parents are to blame because
it's laziness.
It's laziness and it's the fear of if I let the little one go outside, this might happen. All right, go outside with your little one. Go to the park, get involved. I think our generation, like my age group, are going to be the most unfit bunch of parents, like going into like the future. Where loads of my friends, I always make this joke. I put it on my story all the time. I'm like, if you can't run 1K in under 6 minutes, we should be dating. And those girls get offended, and I'm like, there's a reason behind it. During the lockdown now, I'm in a park now. I used to do my jogs in the park near my area. And I saw 2 girls walking, and they had like little kids, like little 4-year-olds, and they've breezed off.
Kids are gone.
Then I'm running, and I'm coming around, and I said to the girls, right, you're not going to go chase the kids? Then they said, oh no, they should be fine. I said, no, this area's full of weirdos. You get what I'm saying? So I said to them, you know what, I'm going to slow down my jog and just watch out for them in case. Because I said, this area is full of weirdos. You can't just be letting little kids run. Because the kid might run further up and someone pulls up in a car and they grab your kid. And because you're unfit, you weren't able to keep up. So when I see that joke is because I don't want to be one of them lazy parents who my kids are off running. And
can't get after them.
No, I want to be able to keep along. So when I say that, you know what I mean? A lot of girls get offended. I'm like, it goes back to what you're saying about people saying, fat phobia, this, that. I'm like, right, you know what? Let's all stay in our lane, innit? I would only date who aligns with my preferences. And it's not even, I don't even care whether she's shredded or like, that's not my thing, innit? It's never been my thing.
Just being active.
Just be active. Do something. Play a sport. Do something. You want to be able to grow older with someone and live long with someone and let them be around for their kids. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like African parents who, my mum, unfortunately, she passed a few years ago, where I'll be saying to her, go for a walk, go do this, go do that. And she'll be stubborn and, you know what I mean? And she was a diabetic. And eventually that took her out. So I'm like, you want to be able to live till you see your great grandkids and grandkids, you know what I mean? You don't want to be like, you don't want to feel like a liability. And when I see like the older generation of my family, unfortunately, a lot of them are liabilities. Like we spent most of our years when we were younger in and out of hospital making sure they were all right, and it was due to them being stubborn. Why are you always in the gym? I'm like, I didn't want to be bad man and say, right, why are you always in the hospital? Because you know what I mean? Like, I've looked after myself, so I don't end up being
like
you.
that. And that's all it is.
But it's that generation. They just all they believe in is, let's go work, let's make money, come back, watch TV, chat on the phone to one auntie Falake in Nigeria or one auntie Chioma in Nigeria for 5 hours. While I tell you, go and fetch me water from the kitchen. You know what I mean? The kitchen's just there. You're in your room. But that tells you how lazy they were. They wouldn't even walk from here to there.
Yeah.
It's mad. You know?
I was going to ask, because you've been name dropping all day. Yeah, I clocked you. I
have to big up my people, man. Because you know what it is, when they got other things, they drop me as well. So I always have to show the love. You know what I mean?
Ask, how did you... Probably when you were younger, because he's been training for at this point, he's probably been training as long as you, but Simeon Panda.
Yeah, Simeon's been training. He's been training a year after me.
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember when I first checked him out, I remember him saying he'd been training like 17 years. So this must have been fucking 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How did you lot come about together and things like that?
You know what? It was accidental. Like, so before like Instagram and all of that, I'd seen a picture of him and I was like, right, this youth is mad shape.
Do you know what? I saw one picture of him, and I used to think it was American. Yeah. Because I think it was a Miracle Watts in somewhere. But it looked like he was doing the Butler thing, you know, when they wear smart trousers and they like the hosting type thing. Yeah. I thought he was some American random Donny. That's one of the first times I came across him. But anyway, go on.
No, so back in the day, like seeing the picture, I was like, right, this youth is like one of the older ones that showed me. I was like, right, this youth is around your age and he trains at. I was like, right, he's in shape. Yeah. And they were like, you lot all remind me of the same, because we were all young, around the same age group, but they were like, yeah, you lot are just hardcore gym rats. So next minute, I find out we've all got mutual friends. Yeah. Then we've ended up adding each other on like Twitter and all of that. So I made a joke. This is how he went viral. Okay. I made a joke in early 2012 called "If I Was Hench Like Simeon Panda." Me and there's a guy on Twitter called Generic Nigger. So we made a hashtag and we just bantered him for like hours straight. Like, if I was hench like Simeon, if I was hench like... And I'd literally just only linked him up like the year before, like in the gym, like we trained together. So we made this hashtag and it went viral. Simeon at the time had like 300 followers on Twitter. His Instagram, no one knew. No word of a lie, after 3 hours of just running jokes, he ended up having like 50,000 followers.
That is mad.
Girls crazy. Just there following. Girls are like, wow, who's this guy? Boom, 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 boom. Women just pushed him to the front, like then he just messaged me. He was like, "Oh, bro, what did he do?" I was like, "Right, the hashtag." He was like, "Oh, thank you, man." You know what I mean? Just blew him up like that. So like even earlier on this year, he'd put it up on his Instagram story, and random people just jumped in my DMs like, "Blah blah blah blah." Like then. There's a few other guys like Lubomba and Kabila. They've gone and put the same thing on their story. And everyone's just random people message me like, "Rah, why is it everyone they've gone?" I said this by accident. I could see in certain people where they're gonna be before they get there. So I was just like, "Rah, just giving them a little push." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now in the reverse, Sim's giving me the push.
Yeah. You lot were out in his house in LA. Yeah. How was that? Fun? You met? Oh, bro. That was nuts, you know.
Oh, bro,
the guy's got. Have you seen his house? Fam, the guy's got.
I haven't seen it.
Garage, bro. Let me just chill. Mad. Like, the house has garage there. You've got McLaren M1. You've got the next. What's the next second car?
He had the McLaren, and he bought the Urus for his wife.
Yeah, for his wife.
And now he's got a third car. He's got
you're talking
a Porsche Taycan.
250 bag cars each.
So he's got a new one. He's got a Porsche.
Then he's got a flipping outdoor gym that's like the size of this little industrial estate we're in right now.
The gyms are madness. The gyms are madness. I was just getting up random times and just going to the gym. Like even in the middle of the night, I was just like,
I do that.
Just there.
That's a route. Like no offense, but I'm not training in your gym. I'm training. I'm training in my gym up there. I'm not training in brick and mortar. I'm training in a gym that looks like the real goals.
His gym is serious. Like that that trip was motivational because literally, before the trip, Simeon bought me a camera.
Oh, okay.
So he bought me a Sony A7R3.
That's the camera I want, man. I need that camera.
So he bought me that. Yeah, he bought me that camera. Like it was just like he'd hit me up. Like it was like, bro, I'm paying attention. He goes, you've just been churning out content. He goes, it's time to level up again. So next minute, he's like, oh, I've done something. I was like, what do you do? He's like, oh, what's your email? And boom, 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 boom. I was like, sent it to him. Next minute, get a notification. Yeah. Delivery's coming. I was like, oh, snap. Then being around him in LA and just seeing how he works. Yeah. So like Simeon will film now. He'll go to the office, start editing himself. Even though he's got a cameraman, people that edit as well. But he'll be doing his own stuff while they'll be doing the YouTube and all of that stuff there. Seeing the work rate, I was just like, rah. Then from there, I went to Atlanta. Then I linked one of my guys, Ariel, Temi. So Temi hangs with, there's a popular influencer guy called George Bamfo. Oh, yeah. That's his circle. And seeing that Atlanta bunch, then talking to him, I was like, how are you lot able to churn content so fast? The turnover is nuts. So he was like, rah, get a USB card reader and plug it in to your phone. Straight to your phone.
Because you know what it is? Because you said that the other day, you like to edit on your phone because it's faster.
Yeah.
So
I like editing on a laptop because I feel like it just makes me look important.
No, but you know what is it?
By the time it's like the effort of even thinking, it makes it seem when it's on your phone, you just do it boom, 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 quickly.
So what's happened is he showed me that. Then when I've come back home, Karen has shown me Video Shop, that app. So I've downloaded Video Shop and literally I just take my camera to the gym and the moment I'm done, I'm in my car like editing, boom, within 10 minutes I've done. I'll save whatever I want in drafts and when I'm ready I just drop. Yeah,
because I was going to say as well, because obviously you've got all these stuff that you're doing, your job, or your other online stuff. Like, how do you even like manage all of that and even creating content? Because creating content can be so long, but how do you manage everything? Because obviously it's not just Instagram content, you got your YouTube as well.
Yeah, you know what it is with the YouTube side, I'm 50-50 with my cameraman now. So originally I used to pay him and then I was paying him commission from the AdSense. So after we sat back and I spoke and I said to him, Rah, he convinced me to do YouTube originally. You know what I mean? So I was like, you convinced me to do YouTube. I said, how far do you want to take this? And he was like, boom, boom. And I said, all right, this is where I want to go. I said, it makes more sense us going as partners and just going ham than you know what I mean, me paying you and me keeping you on a wage. Because I said, Rah, unfortunately, if we stay on that structure and I treat you like just business, because now we're bridgings, if I treat you like just business and the money goes up, you're going to see me getting paid and you're just going to get,
definitely.
You know what I mean? The baseline. So I said, right, let's restructure now and go in as that. So literally that saves me money. And due to the YouTube doing well now, I've put him onto other people that he's got more work. So he's busy all the time. So that side he deals with the vlogs. He does some of them, but because now I'm starting to get better at editing, sometimes I do it myself. I'm like, bro, you know what? Don't worry. Like, I've got free time. Let me bang it out myself. Fair enough. All the Instagram stuff I do myself. TikTok is half and half. Yeah.
That's lit though.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, up to date now, is your biggest achievement?
You know what? Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like, I feel like because I ain't at where I want to be yet. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think about it.
I hate you. I'm the same as well. Like when people tell me, like, "Oh, you do so well," I'm just like, no, like I'm not really doing anything. Anyone could do this. Like I haven't done anything crazy. Like no, I hate you though. But like something small that you feel like maybe even just like a little goal that you set yourself, and you know.
I'll give you an example. Like, for mine, like I feel the same way as you're both saying, but for mine, it's like I'm super appreciative of the fact that I've been doing what I've done consistently for 5 years. Because I remember the day that I stopped doing my retail and I did that, and it was like, obviously the case was retail was making this, PT was making that, and then it was like that, and then I remember quitting. I remember after like 4 months thinking, fucking hell, like I make all my bread myself. As in no one's paid me in 5 years. Do you get what I mean? Like payee wise, innit? I paid myself for 5 years straight, and I look at that and I think that's nuts. Especially in the type of business I do, because it can be like that. It hasn't been, thank God, but it can be very up and down. So that's my thing that I'm appreciative of, like that. Biggest achievement wise.
like I was saying, with the pandemic, it wiped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, totally wiped a lot of people. And I just remember, like, just before lockdown and that, 2.5 months before I buried my mum.
Yeah.
But I came back on the 30th just to make sure I make 3 shots of tequila, this thingy, live show that they had. So that was like their biggest show at the time. So I was just like, right, you know, I can't flop the man and stay out there and just be chilling out there. So I just came back early, made it back for the show that day. Then, I was in lockdown mode. So I remember, like, before lockdown, I won't go out of my house. Like, I went training no one. I literally told all my clients from when my mum passed, the day my mum passed, I was like, unfortunately, I'm not going to train no one for a minute. I just needed time for myself. So I literally, from November 2019 till just before lockdown, literally like a week before lockdown, I've messaged everyone and said, oh, I'm back. And then all of a sudden, it was in lockdown. So I was already in that mode. All I used to do was get up once a week, go Tesco, stay in my house the whole day, just mostly in silence. TV will be on. I'm not really taking in anything. Once a week, one of my clients was coming and dragging me out to go gym, to train legs with her, just to get me out of the house. So I'll just go gym with her, nonchalantly, just in pace. I'm not even pushing myself, just
getting through it,
through the motion.
Yeah.
Then when I decide to snap out of it, we've gone to lockdown. So lockdown's hit now. I was just literally, I was buying books. I was buying fitness books, books on anatomy, stuff on that. I was reading, buying books on like stuff like Art of War and those motivational books, and just stayed at home reading, like, because I was like, normally I don't read, but because I had loads of free time, I was reading, buying audio books, going on long walks. Then like I said, pandemic wiping everyone. It was a big shock. I was lucky because a month before my mum died, I remember my mum giving me a talk about, you're always traveling all the time. How many places have you been this year? I was like, oh, mum, stop pocket watching. Like, I said, right, you're good over there, I'm good over here. You know what I mean? So like that year, I travelled, before she passed, I travelled 8 places. Then the year before, I'd gone 11 places. Then when she passed, I went to Dubai for a few days before going to Nigeria. Then before coming back to London, I went from Nigeria to Ghana for 4 days. Flew back to Nigeria to make my flight to come back home. So that was like 11 places in 1 year. Then I just remember, like, my last kind of talk with her before she got proper ill was like, I said, don't worry, I'm slowing down. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, your cousins were telling me about this expensive watch that you bought. I said, tell them to stop pocket watching. I'm working hard. I was working like a maniac at the time. So that's the reason why I was traveling so much, because I was PT like a maniac. I was doing Uber and my parties were all hitting. They were all busy all the time before lockdown. Then I'd saved up for my house. So I'd said to her that, right, I've saved up for my house. So I'm going to ease up and try to move out from where I'm living within the new year. Then everything happened, boom. So before you know it, I'm having to pay hospital bills out of money I'm saved back there to get into private. I'm having to like pay for the funeral. So I'm chipping into that. Lockdowns hit. So I'm chipping into money saved to pay all my bills and everything. But I was just like, lucky enough I had that. If I didn't have that, I would have been finished. I would have been back in my auntie's house in a box room, like begging for food, you know what I mean? I would have been worse off. So I was like,
you can't go gym.
You can't go gym because you need to clean. You need to go clean the toilet and the bathroom. So I was just like, you know what? Like, for other people, that reset finished them. But for me, I was like, you know what? Like, in life here, how I see things now from that all happening and my mum and everything, I'm like, the worst thing that could ever happen to me in life has happened. Nothing's ever gonna be bad. So I always see things on a positive now. Like, anything I do now, when people are like, right, don't you get tired of working? I'm like, bro, like, listen, like, the clock is ticking. When we're gone, that means I got tired, innit? You know what I mean? My battery finally ran out. So when I'm gone, that means I got tired. So
when it's done, it's done.
It's done. But people don't get, like, they think that I'm working like a maniac and I don't take time for myself. I always put up when I promote PT. I'm like, I get up and 5:30 is the first client. I train people from 5:30 to 11:30. Between 11:30 and 6 p.m, I'm not training no one. Reason why, if I haven't trained myself, I'll train at 11:30. Usually, a lot of times I get this gap between 7:30 to 9.
Yeah.
Where I train with my training partner. Then I'll train a couple of people after. Then what I do is I go home, I eat, I take a 2-hour nap. Because you need time for yourself. You can't be chasing money like a nutcase and not resting. So I take a 2-hour nap, I shower. If I'm bored and I think, you know what, I ain't worked hard enough, I'll jump in my car and do Uber. If not, I just relax and chill back in the gym, train a few people. So I make time for myself, or I make time to do other things like the YouTube edit, you know what I mean, in between that gap. So to most people, it feels like I'm working, like I made it. But I have to break it down to people. I'm like, you leave your house at 6 o'clock or 6:30 to get to work. You leave work probably by 5. By the time you get to your house at 7, you've worked more than me.
Yeah, you've been out and working.
You know what I mean? But in your head, you're thinking I've done more than you. I'm like, no, you're doing more than me. I'm actually getting. It's just lockdown made me go from being a person who was very nocturnal, that just never liked getting up in the morning, to switching over and realizing that if I'm out of my house by 5 o'clock and I get most of my day out the way by 11,
you got the whole day.
I got the whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, who would you say, or like, what would you say is your like biggest inspiration? Like, what's your inspiration, or who's your biggest motivator? Like, do you have something like that?
It's probably Kobe Bryant, you know.
Fair.
Yeah, that guy was a different kind of animal. Different kind of animal. Because one of my good friends played in the NBA, and we were the same age group. And when you hear about Kobe's work rate and work ethic, it was different. Where
it sounds like it's from a movie.
Like it's ridiculous. It sounds fake. He used to play psychological games with people. Yeah. So let's say like away teams come. You lot walk into the change room. This guy's already out there warming up. Bear in mind, he's been there 3 hours before. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not normal. But he was so super driven. He was like a person that, I'm at the top of the food chain, but I still want to be better.
Yeah.
So seeing someone like that, you just think to yourself, am I even working hard enough? Because this guy's leaving his house. You're a multi-millionaire, but you're leaving your house at like 4 something. He was talking like, there was a speech where he was talking about most athletes might maybe train once a day with a team. Then those who are slightly better train twice a day. But he was like, when he was talking about the reason why he gets up early, and this is where the mind switch came, where after I left uni, there was no way he was getting me up early because I got too comfortable. I was like, the raves are hitting every week, so I'm like, I'm making good money from the raves, so I'm like, why the hell do I have to wake up early in the morning? So I became, I would say, slightly lazy, even though people said, you're working hard. I'm like, I'm not getting up before 9 o'clock. That's for you lot. That's how my mind was. You know what I mean? But after hearing that Kobe Bryant speech, he was like, I'm in the gym at 4 o'clock. He's like, you do a couple of hours.
I know.
Then he will come back. I was like, this guy's working 4 times a day. You're already at the top of the food chain. No one's going to cut back your minutes. Why are you working so hard?
But at the end of the day, it's like, it puts you so far of everyone else that they can do 1 million hours for 10 years straight and they'll never catch up because you started so long ago doing so much ahead of them already, and that's what it is. And
that's even with this fitness thing where testament to Simeon is doing so well, but he gets so much hate in comments where people are like, roids, and I say to people, the problem with a lot of people, especially like TikTok and these apps here, most people have been in the gym maybe 1-2 years. Then you've got a few 5-6 years. We were training before social media took off. That's why you see that when people have throwbacks and the new trend is you show when you was out of shape, you show current, and your thing goes viral. They've got loads of footage because it was during the social media era.
Thing then, do you know what I mean?
We were already shaped before Instagram blew. So it was like
before it was a thing, man.
Before it was a thing. So man, them have already built the foundation. Like, remember, I said I started in 98. He started in 99. He used to say to me, like, I stay lean all year round, but I stay lean without even trying that hard. Because my BMR is so high that most people always warn my brothers. I'm like, right, if you come out with me and you're trying to eat at the same pace and drink at the same pace as me, you're gonna get fat.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? I'm like, my BMR is so high from training for so long that my maintenance calorie is not normal. So the difference is where Sim, why he's so lean, is due to growing up here. It's things like I'd cut out fizzy drinks from young. He'd done the same thing, but he'd gone to the extreme of if you go to his house in LA and you look like in his cupboards, there's no sugar. Like
similarly,
the guy's been like that from young. There's no sugar. I remember like even like when we first met and he was like, oh yeah, like how do you even cook your mince when you're cooking like spaghetti? I was like, oh yeah, I just wash it and do it. He goes, nah bro. He goes, boil your mince, drain out all the fat, put in a sieve, throw that back in the pan and cook that. And I was just like, rah, this guy's taking this he's taking this extreme. But he's always been like that. And it's like the rest of the man that will be out partying and that. He was just like, he was working nights on top of his normal job as well. So he was working doors as well on top of his normal job. But he was just, he's like, I'm not interested in that. He was just literally, he stayed on the thing. So fast forward up to now, he's probably only missed gym 5 times in 23 years. I'm telling people that's not normal. 7 days a week. Huh? Because he trains 7 days a week. That's not normal. But that's what he enjoys. So when he's preaching that, right, I enjoy this and I enjoy that, and I'm saying to people that, right, you lot don't understand it. Like, we took a picture when it was we took a few pictures when it was in LA, and in the comments, every time he posts on Twitter, everyone's writing steroids and tagging me, and I'm there laughing. And I was just like, you don't understand it. Like, we've been so in shape for years. Like, the beginning of this year, because I cut out Haribo's in January. That was the only sweet I was addicted to, because I cut out sugar in January. My body went into shock that all the water weight I was holding on to just dropped off. So I became lean easy, and I was just literally doing, like I said, I got into intervals, like every time after training, it became normal. That by the time I went to LA, I was leaner than him. So there was like, bust a joke, 1 steroid guy, 2 steroid guy. And I was thinking to myself, if you lot been training so long and you've already got a good foundation, staying at that pace, it's not that hard. It's just we've already been there before. We've already done the mad dirty bulking and all that garbage that people do in fitness way before Instagram came. So that now you're seeing the finished product, but just maintaining over years.
And that's all it is. You train for long enough, you get in shape, and then all it is maintenance. After that.
And they don't realize, like, when they talk about gear and all of that, I'm like, if we was on gear, the level of strength we'll be Larry Wills.
I keep saying that because that's another thing. People feel like you're going to inject yourself and sit still and you're going to grow. No. Like, you have to work. You still got to go gym.
There's all these, like I said, the TikTok fad. There's all these young boys in my gym. They're like 20, 21. They're all on gear. But the problem is they're not strong because they built a foundation. They haven't taken the years. They just literally jumped in the gym. They jumped in the gym 18. They start needling up at 19 because some idiot on fucking TikTok said to them, you're only going to look like this if you do this. Then what social media has caused, social media has made a lot of people not feel happy within themselves, that when they look in the mirror, they start doubting themselves. They start feeling a certain way about themselves. While us lot who been training for years, like even up until probably the past year and a bit, I didn't even want to put content for a while because in 2014, 15, 13, when I used to compete men's physique, I used to get all the time in my DMs, roids. I used to get all the time all these men trying to move to me, too much women in my DMs. And at the time I had a girlfriend, and I was just like, I just literally went into a mode after that. I rarely was posting and would just always be covered up and just kind of zoned out of everything. I started to hate everything because it just felt like it was overwhelming. And even though I'm a person who I could speak and I could talk and all of that, I'm more introverted than extroverted. And a lot of people don't know that. So I come across as semi-antisocial, and a lot of people don't get that. But that's just, I just function better by myself. You know what I mean?
Because that's me all over.
I function way better by myself. So fast forward now, I just given in. I said, you know what? Like, you can't escape your path. Just embracing all of that. And if I didn't stop then, my page would have been as big as all my friends. But it was just like, I kind of cocooned myself away from everything because I was overwhelmed. And I just didn't like the comments and I didn't like the backlash and all of that. But at the time, I was in a relationship. I wasn't partying at all. So like, imagine I'm cutting out drinking out of my system. I didn't drink for like 3 years because my girl at the time, she didn't drink alcohol. So like, you don't want to be the only one tipsy and and she's looking at you like, oh, look at this nutcase, look at this weirdo. So that made me stop drinking alcohol for 3 years. So like between 28 and 31, I didn't drink no alcohol. I only stayed on my 31st birthday because my brethrens, I was like, you know what? I was like, join in. So like, I didn't drink for 3 years. At the time, my girl used to cook all the time and she was like a gym rat as well. So she would get up like in the morning early before work and she'd go gym. So I picked up all her good habits just due to being around her all the time. And before you know it, I was just mad lean all the time because I've gone from living in a takeaway shop to you're getting food 3 times a day. You're getting treated like some kicks. So I was like, you know what? Like if she's looking after me, let me just be the best version. But the way I used to get peppered, because remember back there as well, you used to have all these muscle pages where they would take people's pictures from their page and put it on their page to grow their page. So I was constantly going viral on these pages. So that's where the original bulk of my Instagram following came from. So like I was going viral off these pages. Then all of a sudden you're going viral and just start giving them content. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I hear that, man. Thanks for coming in today, bro.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me, man.
It's been motivating a bit more, like just like talking about everything you're doing and how disciplined and how you've been able to just carry on through everything.
I appreciate it. All you lot motivate me as well. I see you with the clothing for a while now. I remember like I've known Karen for a few years now. I used to train Karen originally years ago. So I've known her for a few years, but like I always see her like promoting your stuff. I always see her talking highly of you all the time, you know what I mean? And from that, I always knew who you were just due to her, you know what I mean? And I see you grinding and I'm like, you know what? Like even, I swear, years ago I said to someone, I was like, you lot are all pushing these brands, whereas there's someone here in your, you know what I mean?
Let's not even get to that right now.
I said, you know what? I know the politics of the game, innit? So like it happens to me as well, innit? But I was just like, I see her stuff and you lot ain't, you know what I mean? And even normally, like you see, like when you ask me like, size and all of that, I was just like, I've told you. But if it's other people, I ain't wearing that shit. I'm being honest. But because I see what you're doing, I was like, no, I'm coming on hers and you know what I mean? I'm supporting. Whereas other people, if they ask me, I'm like, no, instantly. Like when they ask, I'm like, you're going to have to pay something for me to, you know what I mean? That's how you flip it on them. So like when they ask you, that's how you have to be, because like you're doing your thing and people in our community, instead of them to push you to the forefront, they're like, we want to see you do good, but we don't want to see you do better than us. You know?
Or they want you to be all the way up there before they get involved.
And
act like, I've been a supporter.
That's why I always tweet all the time. Everyone waits at the finish line to fuck the winners.
Literally. That's actually the best explanation.
No, it's been amazing. Keep doing your thing. Keep inspiring us all. Keep pushing, everyone to get their health and fitness in check. It's been great.
When you go LA and it, shout me.
Thanks, guys. You'll be listening to a DAMIHOW podcast. Peace.
Bless.